Hi all students, a lot of students ask me, ma'am, I'm starting right now, there's only 3 months left. Is it possible to crack CAT if I start today? So I'm here to tell you, yes, it is possible to crack CAT in 3 months. Yes, it is possible even if you don't have the entire day to prepare, even if you have a job to go to, or if you're a college student. With smart planning, you can crack CAT even if you're able to give only 2 to 3 hours every single day. And I'm going to tell you how you can prepare for CAT such that you can crack CAT in just 3 months. So let me get started, and I want you to know that don't have anxiety about it or don't worry about it. This is doable. The first step that I want you to actually take is believe that it is doable. If it is doable, then you'll take action. If you believe that it is impossible, people freeze and don't take any action. So I want you to believe that it is possible, and you need to act from today onwards because it is possible and you have to start today onwards. So let me tell you how you can crack CAT in 3 months. What should be the method, plan, how you should go about it. See, now the most important thing for you to remember is that you have lesser time, so you have to prioritize. The ideal way in which you should crack CAT is that you should give it like a 7 months, 8 months to a year. You can then cover the entire syllabus. You can then go in depth in each of the syllabus parts, and then you can practice all of them and be very good at all of them. But we don't have that luxury now. So we have to be smart about how we use our time. So therefore, I want you to prioritize. See, remember in CAT, if you see, it's not like your 10th standard or 11th standard. You don't need to answer all the questions. A lot of times when in 10th standard, you need to get like 90% marks. In 12th standard, you need to get 92% marks. Only those marks are considered like good marks and all. Or you need to get at least 80% marks. These are high level of marks that are required. Marks 80 out of 100 marks are required, or 70 out of 100 marks are required. Here, that is not the requirement. Here, even if I say 99 percentile or 95 percentile, do you know how often what marks it translates to? It translates to 50% marks. Even if you get 50% marks, it is more than enough to get 99 percentile. If the paper is difficult, 50% marks are 99 percentile. If you have like a slightly easier mock also, 60% marks are more than sufficient. So there are say 22 questions in Quant. How many questions do you think you need to get right to get a call from the top IIMs? For you to clear cutoffs, for you to get 99 percentile in Quant, how many questions do you think that you need to get right? 12. In a tough year, if it is a tough paper, even 8 should be enough. 8 to 12. 8 to 12 questions is all that you need to get right out to 22 questions. Which means that you don't need to do the full syllabus. You don't need to get 20 out of 22, right? So you don't need to do the full syllabus. You should be smart in understanding that if only half of the paper is enough for me to clear the cutoffs, not even clear the cutoffs, for me to do incredibly well, for you to do incredibly well also, be in 99 percentile also, only if half of the questions are enough, then why do the full syllabus? It makes no sense. But what you should realize is that you should be smart about what you prioritize, what you do, and you have to be very, very good at what you do. This syllabus coverage, you need not do fully, but whatever you do, you should be expert at it, because these 22 questions are not easy questions. They are difficult questions. They are moderate difficulty in moderate in difficulty level. They will not be simple questions or easy questions to solve. It won't happen that you learn the concept video today and you start solving and you can solve all the questions. No, it will not happen. You know why? Because each of those questions is a fight. Each of those questions requires skill. It requires expertise. So I don't want you to cover the syllabus. Covering the syllabus is pointless. I want you to develop expertise in some topics, because you need only half of the paper to really crack CAT, and I want you to develop half of the paper. I want you to develop expertise in it. Not cover syllabus, but become an expert in the areas. So that should be the first change in your mindset, that you don't need to cover the syllabus. You need to become expert in the right things. You need to prioritize a few things and become experts in that. So let's see what you need to prioritize, what you need to be doing in depth, in detail, and get very good at. So I'm giving you the priority order of each of the sections. What is the most important thing to do? So let's start with Quant. What is the most important thing to do in Quant? It is arithmetic. There are two reasons for it. 5 to 7 questions of these 22 are from arithmetic. If you leave arithmetic, that arithmetic includes profit and loss, compound and simple interest, time, speed, distance, time and work, averages, ratio and proportion, mixtures and solutions, percentages, all of these are considered under the umbrella of arithmetic. Now, why are all of these super important? Firstly, 5 to 7 questions come from this topic. It is important just because of the weightage that is there from this topic. Secondly, the most important reason why I put it as first priority. It is the easiest topic. It's the easiest topic and the highest weightage topic. Now, if it is the easiest and the highest weightage topic, what should you do? You should become a complete expert in it. Because if 7 questions you are able to answer correctly, 7 questions you can master, that would mean that you are already at 80 percentile. Just from arithmetic alone, forget 80 percentile. You can get to 90 percentile just from arithmetic alone. But it means that you need to become a master in them, not just solve. See, the questions in profit and loss will not be simple profit and loss. They will be complicated questions. This shopkeeper is defrauding the customer. He buys, while buying he cheats, while selling he cheats. What is his percentage profit? They are not asking you simple profit and loss questions. So when they ask complicated questions, you need to be an expert. So I want you to first cover arithmetic and become an expert in it. You need to solve every single question, and you need to basically solve at least 50 questions from each topic. So that should be the first priority for you. Secondly, you have algebra. In algebra is a wide topic. If you are somebody who is from a maths background, so that means somebody who has done BSc maths, engineering or any maths allied undergraduate topics, algebra will be easy for you. If you have gone through commerce, arts, humanities, any other topic where maths is not taught at 11th and 12th standard, algebra will be difficult for you. Whether algebra is easy for you or difficult for you, I want you to do two things, two parts of algebra. This is basically the basic parts that everybody has to do, whether you like algebra, whether it is a strength or weakness, whatever. This is the two things, quadratic equations and linear equations. Why have I picked these two parts out of algebra? See, algebra is basically linear equations, quadratic equations, inequalities and modulus function as such. Now, why have I picked these two out of the 4? Because, and polynomial equations, all of those things are there. Why have I picked only these two out of the 4? Because firstly, questions come from these two topics. Linear equations, at least one question comes. Quadratic equations, 1 to 2 questions come. So this is around 2 to 3 questions just from these two topics. 2 to 3 questions which come every single year, every single slot. That is one, weightage. Second is, it's easier. These are the easiest parts of algebra. These are the easiest parts to master. Linear equations, there is literally nothing in linear equations. There is only one subpart which requires some amount of attention, which is special linear equations. And one question comes from that. So that is the only thing that you need to study. Otherwise, linear equations, everybody knows how to solve. So this is a very basic thing that you need to know how to do. Secondly is quadratic equations. Why have I put quadratic equations here? Because quadratic equations is very formula driven. All the concepts in quadratic equations you can learn within 2 hours. What is the sum of the roots? What is the product of the roots? What is the whether the roots are real or not, whether the roots are distinct or not. You can learn it literally in 2 hours. It is very, very formula driven, and you can become an expert by solving 50 questions. If I tell you become an expert in inequalities by solving 50 questions, you won't become an expert, because inequalities is harder, it is tougher, it is generally time consuming also to solve the question. They are the difficult questions or hard questions from algebra. So I'm telling you, leave them for now. I don't need you to solve every single question, right? I need you to solve 11 to 12 questions, and that will get you to 99 percentile. So that 99 percentile in just quant. If you hit 99 percentile in all of these topics, you will get to 99.7 percentile overall. So remember that. You need to be smart and you need to hit 99 percentile in each topic so that you get to overall 99.5 percentile, 99.7 percentile. So over here, I'm just telling, first do these two. These are the easier parts. If you do them, that's enough to actually get to, like, you have 5 to 7 plus 3 questions, you have 8 to 10 questions just from these two topics. And I want you to go deep into them, solve 50 questions, become an expert in these topics. Next up, I'm telling you not to do all of modern maths. All of modern maths is basically you have logarithms, functions and graphs, you have probability, combinatorics, permutations and combinations. It's a wide topic. But from all of that, I want you to do only one topic. Why logarithms, only logarithms next? I'm cherry picking areas. I'm picking something from this, I'm picking something from this, I'm picking something from this. The reason why I selected logarithms is there was a year in which logarithms, 3 questions came from logarithms. There was a year when 1 question came from logarithms. But even in every single year, every single slot, at least 1 question comes, and in some cases 3 questions come. Because of that, I'm saying that do logarithms. That is firstly weightage. At least 1 will come, 3 might come. The time taken to actually cover this topic is not great. It is entirely formula driven. There are like 11 to 12 formulas in logarithms. Rectify them. That's it. Just rectify them. Be very, very good at all those formulas and solve 50 questions. That's all I'm asking you to do. That would mean that you're getting to 11 questions right here. Minimum 11 to 13 questions are being covered by just these 3 topics. So do logarithms. It has weightage. It is easy. It is formula driven. It is possible to become an expert in logarithms in a matter of days, and you are guaranteed some marks. It's an easy topic. It's a formula driven topic. You remember the formula, you solve it out. You remember the formula, you solve it out. When something is as easy like that, you should never leave it. So therefore, I always say this part is must do. And if you do this part well, you will get to at least 95 percentile, if not 99 percentile. Do these parts well, you will get to 99 percentile. Then comes my favorite topic, geometry. The reason why I have put this over here is, see, geometry has a lot of weightage. It has like 3 questions. It is a decent amount of weightage, but it is a vast topic. It's a very big topic. Sometimes 3 questions come, even up to 5 questions can come because it's a vast topic. If the paper setter likes geometry, he can ask more questions also because there are so many topics to cover in geometry. But the downside of that is there are a lot of formulas to remember. Actually, all of these together, if I add up also, right, the time of amount of formulas to remember will be half of geometry. All of this together will be half of geometry. 1. Formulae in geometry are vast. Lot of formulas to remember. 1. Secondly, geometry, it is difficult to tell which formula to use when. It's a difficult topic to master. 50 questions will not even begin to scratch the surface. You have to do at least 150 questions to master geometry. Then why have I put it over here? Because easy questions come from geometry. Here I'm telling you this is difficult to do, but easy questions come. I don't want you to lose out on easy questions. So that's why I put geometry over here. Its weightage is there. Easy questions come from that, but it requires a lot of time. It will take dedication to actually cover geometry because it's not a easy to cover geometry topic. To actually master geometry, you will need at least 1 month. You need to solve like 150 questions of that particular topic to actually become a master of geometry. So this is going to take you time, but it is going to be worth it because easy questions come from geometry. They have come last few years. So I would say that if this is must do, this part is can do. Now the next one, which is algebra. Now I'm basically asking you to do the remaining parts of algebra, which is inequalities. Inequalities and anything else remaining in algebra, which is like polynomial equations, how to factorize polynomial equations. All of that, do it now. See, geometry and inequalities both are basically vaster topics. They require more practice. Inequalities also, you need like 100, 150 questions to actually do well in it. Similarly, there is number systems. Number systems is not difficult, but you have to basically say that, see, I split number systems into 2 parts. There is HCF, LCM, and then there is remainder theory. Remainder theory is difficult, it is tough to master and has low weightage. Remainder theory questions have not come for a very long time and they very sporadically come. Even if they come very rarely. So here this is low probability. This is high probability. HCF, LCM comes very regularly, very regularly, and it is easy. It is the easier part of number systems. HCF, LCM, also cyclicity of factors, the cyclicity of remainders, those are basic things. Numbers, if I reverse digits, what happens? All of those like number theory questions, which are based on the value of numbers, the properties of numbers, on digits being swapped, on divisibility. These are easier parts of number systems and that comes very often. So what I want you to do is, I want you to do geometry so that you do 150 questions from here, cover all the formulas, algebra inequalities, do 100 questions and cover the basics ideas of inequalities. Number systems, I want you to do this well. I would say that this should actually be part of your must do because easy questions come from here. It doesn't take a lot of time to master. Even if you do 20 questions, it would be enough for HCF, LCM and divisibility. So do this part, put it as part of this, but the remaining number systems is can do or leave it as a lower priority. But these two, do this as can do. I would say if you want to like get 99.5 percentile plus, if you're a gem and you need to get not 90 percentile or 95 percentile, you have to hit 99.5 percentile, then cover this. Otherwise, if you just need like 95 percentile, you can leave that and focus more on the first three and master them. Because if you master them, you are getting to 30. 30 is enough for you to actually, you will get to 25. 25 is enough for you, like for somebody who needs 97 percentile, 25 is enough for them to actually get 97 percentile or 98 percentile overall also. So I would say that if you're looking or aiming at 97 percentile, this is enough. If you're aiming, if you're a gem, you need 99.5 percentile, this is necessary. Otherwise, it is not necessary. Then we come to the parts which I would say that if you are in a pinch, you don't know whether you can solve it or cover it, this is can leave. And I'll tell you exactly why you can leave it. First part is modern maths, functions and combinatorics, and then there is progressions and series. There are two reasons why I put them down over there as can leave. First reason is that combinatorics is very often non-intuitive for a lot of people. That is like, समझ में नहीं आता, तुम 4 घंटे लगा दो, 10 घंटे लगा दो, like समझ में नहीं आता because it is not intuitive. See, if I have it is arithmetic, okay, I have 5 liters, I put 1 liter of water, I can intuitively say that, okay, water is being diluted, it is 5/6 of the total volume, I can get a feel for it. Combinatorics is very vague, वो समझ में नहीं आता कि, okay, how do I count the number of possibilities, how do I count the number of cases? It becomes difficult to do it if it is not intuitive for you. If combinatorics is intuitive for you, definitely do it by all means. But for a lot of people, it is non-intuitive, and it is actually non-intuitive in life. A lot of people find it very difficult to consider all the probabilities or possibilities. If you're playing cards, there are some people who are very good at cards, okay? They can immediately say that the possibility, okay, iska hand jeetega or this hand will win, this is the probability. They are very good at that. If you are one of those people, definitely do it because then you can count the number of cases pretty well. But if that is not a strength of yours, I would say leave it because firstly, it is non-intuitive, it is difficult. Secondly, its weightage is very low. See, combinatorics actually didn't come for like 2-3 years it didn't come. Last year it came and also one-off question came. So there's a chance that you would put all that effort and like maybe not even a single question comes. So why put all of that effort when there is no guarantee that it will come and we have other things to focus on. Similarly, progressions and series. Progressions and series, 2 questions come. 1 to 2 questions comes every single time. So weightage is not the issue. The reason why it is there is because every progressions and series questions requires 4 minutes to solve. It is one of those questions which I always leave in my mock attempt because they will take a crazy amount of time to solve. None of those questions are ever easy to solve, especially in CAT. If you take a look at all the previous years' papers, progressions and series questions, minimum it will take 3 minutes to solve. They are not easy questions at all. This requires a lot of practice, at least 100 questions. And again, after all of that time, you go to the CAT paper center, you get a progressions and series question. It is very difficult. It takes 4 minutes to solve. You'll be like, why did I choose this topic? So these are the 2 topics that if you don't have time, leave it. It's okay. This is basically the order. First is, this is must do and I want you to do like 50 questions and I want you to go deep, okay? I want you to keep solving from them till if you see logarithms, you are seeing logarithms, you are doing it. You see algebra, inequality, linear equations, quadratic equations, you are doing it. Anything from arithmetic, you are never leaving it. That is absolutely must do. Secondly, algebra inequalities, do it. The reasons that I would say that you should do it is because sometimes logarithms comes as part with mixed with inequalities. So the logarithms question will come, but it will be part of inequalities. The other reason why you should do it is if you're a gem candidate and you need 99.5, you need this. Otherwise, you can leave it. The things that are the lowest priority are combinatorics, functions, and progressions and series. Functions questions are sometimes easy, sometimes hard. Most of the times they are time consuming. And again, basically 1 to 2 questions will come. And again, I will say that functions questions, I will say that if you're somebody who is struggling in quant, leave it. Because they'll be on the harder side. They'll be the kind of questions where you spend a lot of time, but you make no headway. So rather than that, I would focus on these areas where if you put in the hard work, you're not good at quant also, you will still make some headway, you will still be able to do it, you will still get some expertise. These are easier questions, you can actually become an expert in them. And they also come, 11 questions come from this particular area. You do those 11 questions properly, correctly, without any mistake, you're clearing the cutoff. Let's come to verbal. Again, in verbal, what should be the priority order? See, in verbal, you have 24 questions. How many questions do you need to do well? How much should be the basic attempt or bare attempt? See, one thing that I've noticed in verbal these years is that verbal's difficulty level and ambiguity level all has decreased quite a bit. For the last 3-4 years, a lot of students that I see are attempting the entire verbal section. पूरा करके आते हैं. यहाँ पे barely people attempt like 12 questions. यहाँ पे पूरा verbal 24 का 24 करके आते हैं. So when that is the case, you have to have a high attempt. You can't have like a very low attempt. You can't attempt only 12 questions and come back, because then you will be in trouble. So that's why I'm saying that in verbal, how many questions do you need to attempt? You need to do at least 3 RCs plus all 8 VA, or you should try to do 4 RCs plus 4 VA. This is our target. Sometimes you might not achieve the target. Suppose suddenly CAT 2025, they put a very difficult VRC section. Then you say, "Arey, mera 3 RCs to ho nahi raha hai." Don't worry, it's okay. Whenever a tougher VRC section comes, it's okay, it's natural to reduce the target. But I want you to go in at least aiming at this target, at least thinking that this is what I have to do, this is how much time I should spend. Ideally, you should spend on an RC, you should spend around 8 minutes. 5 minutes to read the RC, 3 minutes to attempt the question. That would mean that you are solving something, the RCs in like 8 minutes, this is 24 minutes, or this is 32 minutes. This will leave you 8 minutes for the VA question, so you can do 2 minutes per VA question. This will leave you like 16 minutes for the VA question, so again you have 2 minutes per VA question. So that is my like the calculation, that you will take 2 minutes for any VA attempt. If you are strong in VA, then do VA first, do all VA questions and do 3 RCs, leave 1 RC, or do 4 RCs, do RCs first if you are stronger in RC, and then do 4 VA questions, leave a couple of VA questions which you are not very sure of. So this means that you make the proper use of your 40 minutes. So 40 minutes you have 24 questions. These are the ideal attempt. I want you to at least target this ideal, even if you end up with like say 3 RCs only, or 3 RCs and 3 VA questions, or 2 RCs and 8 VA questions. Even if you fall short of the target, you will still reach 95 percentile. But if you go in without that target, some students go in with the target of 2 RCs and 4 VA questions. Now the issue with that is that if the paper is easy, you will go and do your 2 RCs, you will take a lot of time to do those 2 RCs, then you will do those 4 VA questions. When everybody is solving the entire section, you are doing this very little part, and the paper is super easy, so most of them are getting correct marks. So then you will basically underperform there. So go with these 2 targets. If it is harder, then scale back on the target. If it is easier, scale up on the target. But this is somewhere midway, which should be comfortable for most people. Now let's go to what should be the priority order. So the priority order, firstly, always begin. See, in both of the scenarios, you're doing at least 3 RCs. At least 3 RCs you have to do. So what should be the first priority in VA? It has to be RCs. So you have to do well in RCs. There's no option there. There's no alternative to preparing for RC. So it should be your first priority. RC karna hi hai to do it well. No, you have to do it, so you have to do it well. So what is the required skill to do well in RC? What is required to do well in RC? Firstly, you need to have a reading habit. Suppose you are somebody who's from humanities background. You are used to like reading a lot of essays, reading a lot of articles. Then this should be easy for you. But for a lot of students who come from either engineering background or commerce background, they don't have a reading habit. So your first step should be to develop a reading habit. So what do you need to develop a reading habit? You need to read articles every single day. What I want you to do is, starting from today, from the first month onwards, read 2 articles every single day. This is what is required for doing well in reading comprehension. For 1 month, just read articles, develop the reading habit. After that, I want you to solve RCs regularly. RCs should be your first priority. Then para summary. Why para summary? Para summary is basically from RCs. RCs are basically your comprehension skills, ability to read, comprehend, say that this is the main part, this is the main main point that the author is trying to say. That is reading comprehension. Parasummary is the same thing. You have to identify the main part that comes in parasummary. So if you do this, you do this also. Both of them go together. They are like ek saath dono ho jata hai. So they should be your first priority. The second priority should be para completion. So of these things, I'll tell you, your accuracy in reading comprehension will be around 80%, should be around 80%, not will be, should be around 80%. Para completion also should be around 80%. 80% of parasummaries that you do should be correct. In para completion, I generally find that my para completion is between 70 to 80%. Then I come to OOC parajumbles and theta parajumbles. I'm very good at all of VARC. I'm very, very good at it. But still I'll tell you my accuracy over here. 60%. You know why? Because this is a bit random topic. It's a bit random in the questions that are asked. You can often I feel that two answers are possible. In theta parajumbles, you have, like normally in everything else, you have 4 options, right? You have to select one of the 4 options, 25% chance you'll get it right. In OOC parajumbles, there are 5 options. You have to type in the answer. Both of these are type in the answer types, which means that you have to type in an answer. So in OOC parajumbles, you have to put in one value between 1 to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 20% 1 in 5 chance that you will get it right. In theta parajumbles, you have to input the order. So say 4 sentences are given, 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to say that the order of the sentences should be 4, 2, 3, 1. This is the only correct answer. How many ways can you arrange the sentences? There are 4 different sentences. They can be arranged in 4 factorial ways. That is 24. So 1 out of 24 options will be correct. Which means that what is the likelihood that you will get it perfectly correct? Very low likelihood. Because of that, these are actually kept as no negative marking questions. There is no negative marking for them. So I want you to attempt them. But I don't want you to spend a lot of time on them because the chances of getting them right is low. The chances that you will get these right with practice, with a lot of effort is higher. So you should always put your time where you will get return. If I put my time where I am going to get low return, will I put it? No. I first put it for things where I am going to get a high return. So these are the areas I am going to get a high return from. So I always put all my time, effort, mental this in this area. Over here I put some answers, but they are not the first priority. You should also remember this while preparing. What should you prepare first? RCs. RCs are your bread and butter. They will basically be 90%, 95% of your score will come from this. The remaining 10% will come from this. So I want you to be very, very good at this. Okay. Then you come to LRDI. See, the issue with LRDI is there is no syllabus. Kuch bhi pooch sakte hai. They can make any kind of puzzle, any kind of DLR set and give it to you. But the thing is that there is also a limit to human imagination. No, there has to be basically, even if I try to imagine, I'll imagine according to what has been done before. These guys are not like some master puzzle setters, right? These guys are faculty in a management institute. So they will also go with puzzles that have been asked before. So then what we did is we compiled all the puzzles that have, all the DILR sets that have come before. What is the most commonly asked DILR set? There are 4 most common asked DILR sets. Puzzles, arrangements, tables and charts. This is like 40% of all the types of sets that are asked. 40-50% are just this. Puzzles, arrangements, tables, charts. If you're good with tables, basically tables with missing values, tables with year-wise data, tables with like cumulative data, tables with range-wise data, all of the table sets, if you're good with them, if you're able to read every single chart, if you're able to solve Einstein's puzzles, quant puzzles, puzzles based on prime numbers, puzzles of all kinds, if you're good with puzzles, and if you know all the arrangements, linear arrangement, circular arrangement, arrangement across levels, arrangement of attributes, arrangement across square, complex arrangement, everything. You know all of those arrangements. This is 40%. And how many LR sets do you really need to do well in quant? See, generally till 2023, if I analyze papers 2019 to 2023, how many sets did I need to do? I needed to do 2 sets. 2 sets is 99 percentile. If I get all questions in 2 sets correct, out of like 4 or 5 sets that are there, if I do 2 sets, that is 50% of the paper, or sometimes even 40% of the paper, I am reaching 99 percentile. This was not true for 2024. In 2024, 3 sets were required. 3 sets out of 5 were required to get to 99 percentile. then you would think that, okay, if I just need to do like less than 60%, I don't need to do everything. I need to know only some things and I need to know them well, which is exactly what you need to know. You don't need to do everything. Of all the 5 sets, nobody is solving all 5 sets. Nobody is solving even 4 sets. Most people are solving 3 sets or 2 sets. So if that is the case, you need to know some things, but you need to know them well. So what should you do first? What should you do most? These 4 things. These 4 things are your bread and butter. These you have to do very well. You should be an expert in these 4 things. Solve like 30, 40, 50 sets of each of these. These will be basically what will get you across the line. Then you come to the others. This is must do. Okay. Then you come to can do. What is can do? This part is can do. Why do I put it as can do? See, basically of the 4, if there are 4 sets, 2 will be from this and 1 will be from this and 1 will be from this, say. Or 2 will be from this, 2 will be from this if there are 4 sets, or 2 will be from this, 3 will be from this. So that's why I'm saying it is can do. Quant based LRs are very, very common and they are also very easy to do. If you are somebody who is very good at quant, they are the best ones that you can possibly hope for. They are easy to do if you are very good at quant, particularly if you are good with numbers and number theory, prime numbers. If you can count the prime numbers very quickly, quant based LRs is excellent for you. Then you have sets and Venn diagrams, also overlaps with quant. If you're good with set theory, you should definitely do it. Then you have scheduling and 2D and 3D space puzzle. Scheduling requires some amount of visual reasoning. 2D and 3D space puzzles are entirely visual reasoning. So this is quant reasoning. This is logical reasoning. This is visual reasoning. Visual means you can envision how it will look. You can see the paths. You can see the how things can be distributed. All of that visual reasoning, for some people it is very intuitive. I'll tell you personally, I'm not a person who understands visual reasoning well. I sometimes can't read maps properly. So I'm not a visual reasoning person. If you're a visual reasoning person, this is good for you. If it is not something that you do well, then you can leave it. But quant reasoning, I would say quant reasoning always do, because quant reasoning is within your hands. It is within your fingers. Quant questions are not like you will not make any progress. You will definitely make progress given time. The only issue is that it can take a lot of time, but you will definitely solve it. These two sometimes, a lot of people struggle with them. If you're somebody who struggles with visual reasoning, then don't do it. If you're somebody who is good with visual reasoning, do it. Scheduling particularly is for people who are very good with design. If you're good with design, if you're able to draw things to scale properly, scheduling is your best bet, because scheduling will basically mean that you have to draw the schedule. And if you're good at drawing, right, drawing things freehand, if you draw them to scale properly quickly, then you will do very well over here. So if you're good at drawing, do scheduling. It will be a good bet to have. Now I come to this section. Games and tournaments, team selection, roots and networks. Roots and networks is easy, but it is very rarely asked. That is the reason why I kept it over here. Games and tournaments, team selection. The reason why I have kept it over here is that even if it is asked, I will always leave it. It will never even be among the first 2 attempts. Maybe the 3rd attempt. Why? They are hardest. They are infinitely time consuming. Minimum it takes 20 minutes to solve these sets. Because of that, I never attempt these in my actual CAT attempt. I never attempt these. So if you don't plan to attempt them, should you spend a lot of time preparing for it? No. So this is must do. This is can do. This is can leave. Okay. So now that you understand, okay, this is the priority. This is what I need to do. I need to do around 50%. So if 50% has to be done, then that's easy, no? 3 months you can do 50% of the syllabus. But here is basically where the catch is. You have to understand that whatever 50% that you do, you have to do it in depth, not breadth. So I'll tell you the comparison between, say, CAT and say your 12th standard exam, or even like your undergrad exams. What do you do in your UG exams? If you're an engineer like me, you would have start the night before and you start reading the textbook and you start mugging. Your whole goal when you're preparing for the UG exam is to cover the syllabus. Syllabus ho gaya ki nahi? All 8 chapters are there, 8 chapters mug ke ho gaye ki nahi? That is your goal, that is your objective, right? 8 subjects, I'm going to mug everything. If I don't have time, I will mug 80% of it. If I really mess up, I'll mug 70% of it. But that is like a terrible scenario. But my basic idea is that you have to mug. You have to read and mug and remember. But this is not like this. CAT is not at all like this. CAT does not require you to remember or mug up a lot. It requires you to apply. Whatever you know, you have to apply. You have to solve. You have to answer. So mugging is useless over here. Even if you mug all the formulas in Quant, you won't be able to answer a single question. Because the ability is not of memory. The test is not of memory. It is of problem solving skill. It is skill. Think of it like a carpenter. A carpenter can see and know how a chair is made. But unless he makes 10 chairs, he's not going to make it properly. It is skill. It is hand skill like this, right? Similarly, you do it repeatedly. Repeated movement will build skill. Repeated solving will build skill. CAT is not about covering syllabus. Do all of the syllabus, 100% of the syllabus. You do 100% of the syllabus over here, you will still get like 20 percentile. There's no guarantee of anything over here. So what should you do? This is where the idea comes in of depth versus breadth. If this is the entire syllabus, okay? I am telling you that focus on 50% of it. And when I want you to do this 50% of the syllabus, I want you to go deep in it. I don't want you to cover the entire breadth of the syllabus. I want you to cover this 50% in detail. Go into like every single question, every single possible question that can be asked. In quadratic equations, if I am trying to make questions, by the 51st question, I am repeating myself. Why? Because there are only so many questions that I can make in quadratic equations. Same way, when you solve questions from arithmetic, you should be like, I have solved this question before. I have seen questions like this before. It should not be a surprise. It should not be a this. You should know how to start the question because you have solved that question before. That should be the mechanism. So look at this entire process as each topic is you climbing a set of stairs. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are say stairs that represent increasing difficulty level of the questions. If you are covering breadth of the syllabus, you will cover the formulas and then maybe suppose you will cover the first 2 levels of questions. Simple questions you will be able to solve. But this will be completely useless because CAT level begins from here. If it is easy CAT level is 5. Hard CAT level is 8. If you have covered 1 and 2 level questions, you will not even reach this level. You will not be able to answer a single question in CAT. So what should be your focus? Your focus should be that I'll do only half of the syllabus, but I'll get to these higher levels. So what will happen is that any kind of question comes from that, any difficult, detail-oriented, like unbelievably tough question comes from it, I can solve. So your idea should be that if I take a topic, profit and loss, I do level 1 questions of profit and loss, direct application of formula. Level 2 questions, okay, the values are inverted or like 2 or transactions are given. Can do. Do it to an extent that you're able to do 3 level questions, 4 level questions. It's basically like going through it again and again and again and iteration again and again and again till you are able to do 5 level questions, 6 level questions, 7 level questions, 8 level questions. You're able to do the hardest question from profit and loss. You can then say this is done. I can now go to compound and simple interest. Do the same thing again and again. You have to go deep into compound and simple interest so that even the hardest questions from that you are able to solve. This is the task in front of you. You have to go deep, not broad. Now let's come to the way to do it. How do you do it? How do you actually achieve? I'm telling you, you do this, you do that, but how do you achieve it? So we have a course for it. So we have a 3-month course, a crash course, which is exactly designed to do this. That you should be able to get expertise in a limited amount of time. How do you get expertise? So we have a crash course. Firstly, we have concept videos which cover the entire syllabus. So the base is covered. Fundamental foundation is there. Then we have study room, which has 18,000 questions. You have more questions than you can solve. Why is that the case? Because you will have to develop expertise in a small subset of it. So if you have to develop expertise, you have to solve 150 questions of profit and loss. 150 questions of profit and loss you will not find anywhere else. We have it because we have put years of questions in this. So if you really want to develop expertise, if you want to go deep, there is no resource like our crash course. You will have complete syllabus coverage through concept videos, which I teach. You will have access to very good high quality questions, even difficult questions in our study bank. In addition to that, you have daily live classes. So me and Maruti also teach the live classes. In those live classes, we solve CAT level questions. We solve difficult questions. We are there to answer every single doubt you have so that you solve with us and you know exactly how to solve. In addition to that, you have access to weekly revision, day-wise schedule. So we tell you, okay, day 1, do this. See this concept video, take this concept test, solve these questions. We give you a day-wise schedule so you don't have to think, aaj kya karna hai? We have told you, aaj ye karna hai. So there is no thinking that is required. You know exactly what to do. There is no confusion. In addition to that, you have weekly revision and one-on-one mentorship. So if you are interested in our course, if you're really serious about cracking CAT, do call us on this number and there will be somebody who will guide you to finding the exact right way to crack CAT in 3 months. Now let's go to the course material. How you should be using our course material. How can you actually cover the entire, cover 99 percentile syllabus using our material. So we have basically, I will say that cracking CAT, you can consider that it rests on 3 pillars. Learning, practice and test. What is each one of them? Learning is that you need to learn the formulas, you need to learn the concepts. If I tell you, okay, now do this choreography. First you have to learn the steps, right? If I tell you to do this dance, first you have to learn the steps. Second, you have to practice the steps. Third is that you have to do a dress rehearsal. Similarly, you have 3 steps over here. First, you learn the concept videos, every single thing. Concept videos are put in a day-wise schedule. First day, see this concept video, see this concept video. So we have distributed over the number of days that we have so that you have complete syllabus coverage. But even in our concept videos, we have put the most important videos up front. Why? Because you should cover those concept videos first and then start practicing from them immediately. Because that is basically the priority area. So concept videos are there, they are put as batch tasks that you have to do every single day. In addition to that, you have live sessions where again we teach, we again explain everything and again we solve with you. Now you come to the part, okay, now I know all the formulas in profit and loss. There aren't that many formulas in profit and loss. What should you do? Again, as I said, like it's a dance step, right? You have learned all the steps. But learning steps, watching the teacher and learning the steps is only one part of it. You have to now practice the steps. You have to do it over and over and over again until it becomes second nature to you. So then it comes the practice part. Here, basically, we have study room. As I mentioned, there are 18,000 questions. And we also have something called as the daily target. Daily target is a daily test that we send to all students. There are like thousands of students which take our daily target. This test is basically CAT level, exact CAT level. So between 5 to 8 difficulty only. Study room basically starts from level difficulty 1 and goes to 8. And it is adaptive. So that means that it starts with wherever you are. If you are actually a good student, if you are somebody who is good at something, it will rise up the difficulty levels very fast. If you are struggling, it will keep giving you easy questions till you are able to go to the next level. So it will keep helping you along till you are able to go and say that, okay, now I can do this. Now let's go to the next level. So this is adaptive. This is exactly CAT level. Why are both of these important? I want you to try daily target. A lot of students say that, ma'am, I'm not able to solve it. It's difficult questions. What should I do? Daily target is aspirational. You should try. You should put the target. You should look at it. Every single day, I want you to try. Even if you fail, you will learn. This is there for you to build. It's basically you building your ability to reach daily target. But this is the aspirational level that I want you to have. By the end of 3 months, this is what you will be able to solve. So this is basically the 2 ways in which you can practice questions. The last part is your dress rehearsal. The dress rehearsal of actually doing the entire steps choreography with everybody involved so that you are perfect in your dance. So similarly, you have a dress rehearsal over here also. There are 2 types of tests that you can do which will prepare you mentally, physically for the pressure of the taking the CAT. See, CAT is like a very high pressure event. Even after so many years, even I feel the pressure because I have to do well in CAT so that others can say that, okay, I should learn from somebody who knows how to crack the exam herself. So I have to do well and even I feel the pressure. But for me, the pressure is 1/10 the pressure on an actual CAT student. On an actual CAT student, this is like makes a huge difference to their life, right? Whether you go to IMA or whether you go to like a tier 3B school entirely depends on your ability to withstand pressure that day, on your ability to take that stress. So these are super important. A lot of people do very few mocks, very few sectionals. They suffer because of that. Because mocks and sectionals are basically, they are preparing you mentally for that pressure, that load. A lot of people crumble under pressure. This will make you immune to pressure. So mocks and sectionals are absolute must. We have 20 mocks plus 15 sectionals. Sectionals means what? See, a mock is a full length test. All 3 sections, there you have to take it in one go. You can't stop it in the middle. It is done to exactly mimic the feeling of taking CAT. So this is basically 20 mocks are there which will tell you exactly this is what is going to happen to you in CAT. Sectionals are different. Sectionals are basically, each of the sectionals is one section. So if you want to say that, okay, I'm weak in VRC, what should I do? I will tell you, take VRC sectional. So you'll be doing only 40 minutes of the questions which are there in VRC section. Why do you have separate sectionals, separate mocks and separate sectionals? Sectionals are there for additional practice. If you're weak in one particular section, you need additional practice. That is where sections come in. A lot of people do very little of testing. Very little. And many times you can see that even in like if you see in dance, you can see people are off sync, right? They have never practiced together. They have never done dress rehearsals. Similarly, I can tell somebody who has learnt, practice but not done test. Because they will know how to solve questions after the mock timer is done, they can solve all questions. But under that mock pressure, they are not able to solve. Why? Because they have not taken any test. Because they are not taking tests, they are not able to handle the pressure. They are not able to do the same job in 2 minutes. They are taking 4 minutes to do it. So all of this will be sorted out if you take 20 mocks. So Cracku has you covered in all of that. Now I'll give you the month-wise schedule. What should you do month-wise so that you get to your final list? This is basically for the person who is a gem. So I'm trying to cover everything. But if you're not gem, I would say that you can remove things which are can do or can leave based on whether you're a gem or not, whether you really need everything or not. You can cut out those parts. Okay. So let's see the first month. Quant, as I said, you have to do arithmetic. You have to do 50 questions from each of those arithmetic topics. So I mentioned all the arithmetic topics: averages, ratio and proportion, mixtures and solutions, percentages, you have time, speed, distance, time and work, profit and loss, compound and simple interest. I want you to do 50 questions from all of them. So there are 7, so that is 300 to 350 questions you have to do. In algebra, do linear equations, quadratic equations and 50 questions from each of these. So total how many questions is it? It is 450 questions. 30 days, 450 questions. How many questions per day? 15 questions. You can do 15 questions per day, right? It's not too much to ask. 15 questions per day would be half an hour. Half an hour to 45 minutes. So this is 45 minutes per day on Quant. Let's come to the second part, which is verbal. I want you to read 2 articles per day. Reading 2 articles per day will take you around 20 minutes. I want you to do 2 RCs per day. Again, should take you around 20 minutes. So this is around 40 to 45 minutes on VRC. How much is that till now? This is 1.5 hours. LRDI. LRDI, start with arrangements, tables, puzzles, tables and charts. Simple, very simple. This is the most important thing that I mentioned, right? You have to do it. You have to do 5 sets of each type. 20 sets. 20 sets, that's less than 1 set a day. Easy to do, not very difficult. This is around 15 to 30 minutes a day. This is 2 hours, just 2 hours that I need you to put it. 2 hours every single day. 2 hours every single day and you are nearly there. You are cracking CAT in 3 months. So can you put in 2 hours every single day? I want you to know and see this properly. This is your every day schedule. This is what you have to do. This is the bare minimum. Bare minimum means इससे कम नहीं कर सकते. इतना तो करना ही है. You have to do this and at least this. Okay, this is the minimum you have to do. Now, I also, in addition to this, I want you to do this over the weekends. Over the weekends, most of us have extra time. I can understand over the weekdays you have lesser time, but on weekends you have more time. So what should you do in addition to this on weekends? I want you to take 1 zero prep mock. What is zero prep mock? That is a mock before any preparation has begun. So if you are starting today, you start with the zero prep mock. You take a mock without having any knowledge, zero knowledge. Why should you do that? See, it's like on the first day of your swimming lesson, I want you to jump into the deep end of the pool. I want you to get the fear out of you. You will go down underwater, you will get water in your nose and mouth, you will get very scared. But from that day on, you will not have fear of cat. So similarly, from that day on, you will not have fear of water. Similarly, from this day on, you will not have fear of cat. Why? Because the worst is over. The worst that could possibly happen is over. You will tank very badly in this. I'm telling you right now, you will have a very bad mock, very poor score. You will say that, okay, maybe cat is not for me. But it is expected. That is going to happen because you have not prepared at all. But why then take it? If you are going to fail, then why am I setting you up for failure? The reason is that I want you to do something and get it out of the way so that the fear is addressed. First thing is that you have to conquer the fear. A lot of people don't take mocks because they're afraid of mocks. I don't want you to be afraid of mocks. I don't want you to be afraid of mock scores. Mock scores are immaterial. Nobody in your IIM interview is going to ask you, "Tumhare fifth mock mein kitne aaye the?" Nobody cares. Nobody knows. I will tell you, I got into IIM. I did not have good mock scores throughout my journey. There were poor mocks. There were good mocks. There were mocks which I took when I was sick, where I had terrible There were mocks when I was distracted. All of that does not make any difference. At the end of the day, what do they ask you? Which B school you went to? That's all they will ask you. So these mock scores make no difference. I want you to get the fear out of it. Secondly, I want you to get a very good assessment of your strengths and weaknesses. I want you to understand the format. I want you to understand the task in front of you. If you understand that, okay, you have to do this, you have to do that, it makes things clearer. There is no confusion there. So please take a zero prep mock. You will do badly, but you will firstly get over the fear. Secondly, you will have clarity of what work needs to be done. You will have clarity of what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. You will understand which section is the weakest, which section is the worst. You will understand that. So please take a zero prep mock. That should be the first step of your preparation. You can start with any Dashcat mock, any Cracku mock, or you can even start with the previous year's paper. Start with CAT 2024, any slot, and go jump into the deep end. That is what I want you to do. Then you start with your preparation, start with all of this. Do this for a month, okay? Every weekend, every Sunday, I want you to take one mock. Every Sunday, I want you to take one mock and see the improvement. The scores will still be bad, okay? You should not expect any from the scores. What you should want from the scores is improvement. If you start with, say, the target is to get to 100 marks overall. Suppose you start from, say, 10 marks. You can even start from minus marks, okay? There is minus marks are also possible. Suppose you even start from minus 5 marks. All I want in these, from zero prep mock to these 3 mocks, is I want some improvement. I want plus 5 marks. I want plus 10 marks, plus 15 marks. I want you to find areas you can do and do them well so that you get some 5-10 marks somewhere here, there, anywhere. So I want to see this improvement. I want you to get to 30 marks overall in the first month. We have time to get from 30 to 100. This is just the first month. But I want you to at least start and get somewhere. I want you to get the fear of mock scores out of you. Let's go to the second month. Second month is basically the second part. This is the can do. If you are a GEM candidate, it is must do for you, okay? I'm sorry, but that exists. And even if you're not a GEM candidate, even if you're GNEM candidate, non-engineer male, still same applies to you. If you are anybody where the cutoffs are above 99.2 percentile, still applies to you, okay? If it is below 99.2 percentile, you can skip this, but otherwise it applies to you, okay? I want you to cover inequalities. I want you to cover geometry. This will take a lot of time. Again, logarithms, I want you to do it again because logarithms often comes with inequalities. There will be some questions in logarithms that you can't solve initially because inequalities is not done. But now you can do it. I want you to do these well. I want you to do 50 mix of arithmetic so that you don't forget arithmetic. Again, as I said, this is very important. If you're not covering any of these topics, just do more of arithmetic questions. If you do a lot of arithmetic questions, even that should be fine. So do 50 mix of arithmetic, 50 mix of algebra from linear equations, quadratic equations, and 50 of geometry and 30 of logarithms. Here basically I want you to go deep and I want you to become an expert in all of these things. This is where you achieve expertise in. First month you achieved expertise in arithmetic. This month you achieve expertise in algebra and geometry. Verbal. Now first month was all about RC. Now start with para summary. Para summary should be easy for you if RC is done. If it is not done, then para summary you will struggle. Then go to completion, para completion, second priority. OC and theta parajumbles, I want you to do something. The reason why para completion comes below OC and theta parajumbles is because concepts of OC and theta parajumbles are required for para completion. Many of the things like linking words, transition words are used here, taught here and used here. So I want you to complete this before this, but in attempt order, what should come first? This should be attempted first, this should be attempted first, then this should be attempted. So that is why, while the learning order is like this, the attempt order in mock will be different. I want you to do 20 of each day. In addition to that, I want you to do 2 RCs every single day. So 20 of each day is not very difficult. 20 of each, sorry, is not very difficult. That is like about 60 questions, 30 days, 2 questions a day. 2 RCs a day plus 2 VA questions. Or you can do 2 RCs and in one particular day, you can do 10 questions of VA. Okay, not very difficult to do at all. Then you come to LRDI. Now over here, what I want you to do is do the can do topics, quant, LRs, set and Venn diagrams, sets and Venn diagrams, 2D space puzzles, scheduling. I want you to do all of them and I want you to do 5 sets of each type. Here is the most important thing. More important than the 5 sets of each of these is 5 sets of that. Because I want you to get into the habit of doing one puzzle or one arrangement or one table or one chart set every day. Every day you are solving it. In 1 month you are doing all of them multiple times. Why? Because they are super important. Tables, charts, puzzles, arrangements are super important. You have to get expert level in that. Which means that you start first month, you continue practicing second month, third month you go crazy and solve as many sets as possible. I want you to tilt into tables, charts, puzzles, arrangements, tilt into arithmetic, RC, do every single day. So second month is basically you do the can do part and practice the must do part. Now the weekend plan. Your weekend plans, I'm afraid, for the 3 months are not going to be great. The weekend plan is mocks, sectionals. So basically the idea is that every Sunday I want you to take one mock, and Sunday and Saturday, basically the next Saturday after a mock, I want you to spend on analyzing it. So you take the mock before say 2 o'clock on Sunday, take it. I would say take it in the morning when you're a bit fresh, and after that what I want you to do is spend the rest of the day analyzing and addressing issues. So what do I mean by addressing issues? See, you analyze the mock, you identify, okay, I did bad in this section and I did poorly in this section because I couldn't solve this set. Or I did poorly in this section because I couldn't solve many of the arithmetic questions. Or I got a lot of profit questions wrong. So then you identify, okay, I'm not doing well in this particular area. Then go and address it. How do you address it? Go to study room, do 20 questions from each topic that you find difficult. Do sets of each type of LR set that you find difficult. That is your task, that you take a mock, you analyze the areas that are of concern, and then you address it through the study room. In addition to that, on Wednesdays, I have Wednesdays plans for you also. Take one sectional every Wednesday. This is from the section that you are weakest at. By this time, you will have some idea of what your strong sections are, what your weak sections are. Most students are strong in 1 or 2 sections and they are incredibly weak in one section. I'll tell you, most people are strong in Quant and LRDI and weak in VRC. Or they are strong in VRC and LRDI but weak in Quant. It depends on what you learnt in UG. Unfortunately, if you are an engineering grad, because you never read anything in engineering, you will be weak in VRC. If on the other hand, if you are a humanities grad, you will have very good hold on VRC. You might even be okay with LRDI, but you would be terrible in Quant. Commerce grads struggle in Quant, struggle in LRDI, are decent in VRC. So basically what I would say to you is, find your area, which is section which is the weakest. Every Wednesday, I want you to take a sectional of that particular section. Third month. See, basically you have to think that first month I'll learn the most important things. Second month I'll practice the most important things. Third month I'll go crazy and just keep practicing. You should look at it that third month I'm just going to solve as many questions as possible. Why? Because that will build expertise. If you don't solve, you will just be on the surface level. See, basically you have to dig deeper into each topic. This is basically the area when you are going to become an expert. So I'm not giving you a lot of things to do in the third month. This should be a very minor thing. You should not spend a lot of time on this. In fact, if you are not targeting 99.9 percentile plus, you can leave this entirely. But this is what I want you to do. I want you to do a lot of questions from arithmetic, algebra and geometry. I want you to go and solve as many questions. I've put 50 questions, but honestly 100 questions, 150 questions, as much as you have time for, do them. Because the more you solve, the more of an expert you become. The more of an expert you become, the more confidence you will have on actual CAT day. So solving this is super important. This is the most important thing that you have to do in your third month. Same with verbal revision. Revise all the concepts, revise all the things that I've taught you, but 2 RCs and 10 questions every single day. This is what is important. Solve, 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 solve. Okay. Similarly, LRDI, what do you have to do? This is there, but it is low priority. Do it if you want a complete syllabus. But what I want really to do is 1 LR set every single day. 1 LR set every single day will take you 20 minutes. If you are not able to get it, it will take you another 20 minutes to see the solution. So about 30-40 minutes will go in this. So why do I want you to do this? I want you to become an expert. 30 LR sets, 30 sets that you learn from, you will be able to solve 2 LR sets on the D-Day. So this is my plan for how you should prepare. I forgot your weekend plans. What are your weekend plans? Every weekend plan from now on is mocks analysis and addressing and improvement. Mocks analysis, I'm putting 4 to 6 because now in the third month you have to take mocks more regularly. You can't take it every Sunday. So you can think of it that, okay, every Sunday I'm going to take, so 4 mocks will be done, and at least some things I'll try to do midweek. So at least 2 like Wednesdays I'll try to do a full length mock. In addition to that, I want you to spend the time analyzing the mock, identifying areas of improvement, and spend like 3-4 hours just practicing from the areas that you are weak in. You identify that I'm not doing well in this particular part of arithmetic. Do questions from that. I'm not able to solve questions or LR sets of this type. Solve 10 LR sets. I'm telling you, you will not run out of questions from CAT study room. Our study room has 18,000 questions. It is not possible for you to run out of questions. When that is the case, what is really stopping you from becoming an expert? Only you and your time management is stopping you. I want you to become an expert. I want you to become an expert in the areas that I've highlighted. So take these mocks, analyze the mocks, and become an expert in the areas that are weaknesses. Okay. Now coming to the last part, which is the schedule. So I've told you your weekend plans, weekday plans, lot of things to do, right? But you should be clear about what has to be done first, what has to be done second, what has to be done third. On the weekdays, first priority, batch tasks. These will make sure your syllabus is covered. The important things are done. The formulas are there. Second, live sessions. We take live sessions every day from 8 to 9. These are super important. Why? Because in this 1 hour, 1.5 hour, we generally go up to 9:30. We solve every single doubt that you have. You will see that there are hundreds like you. There are so many other like you who are preparing. That grounding is needed, okay? If you see other students who are there, who are preparing for you, you will get a daily reminder of the competition that is there. CAT is extremely competitive. If you are preparing alone, you sometimes lose focus of that. I want you to attend live session to see how dedicated people are. There are people who have already taken like 20 mocks. I don't want you to get scared. I don't want you to get intimidated, but I want you to come to the live sessions so that you see dedication on a daily basis. There are so many students who are incredibly dedicated. Secondly, live sessions will make sure that your practice is done. It's a daily way of getting practice done. There will be some days you are able to complete batch tasks, concept videos, concept tests, but not every day will you go to the study room. But study live session will make sure that at least some questions are solved every single day. Do the daily target. This is also extremely important. This is your aspirational target. This is a check whether you are an expert in a particular topic or not. If you are able to solve daily target, you are the expert in that topic. If you are not able to solve the daily target, you are not yet an expert in that topic. Then last is articles. I mentioned 2 articles every single day for the first month. Make sure that you do it on a daily basis. Make it a habit. I would say make it an early morning habit. Early morning when you're not fully awake, solving questions might be difficult. But reading an article early morning is entirely possible. So do that early morning. Then you have your weekend plans, mocks and sectionals. Identify, analyze, identify areas that you have to practice from. Go to study room. Do targeted practice. I need 50 questions of this topic, 50 questions of that topic, 50 questions of that topic. In every mocks and sectional, you will get detailed analysis. We give strengths and weaknesses. Our mocks interface is very good. We tell you that this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. So then you know immediately that this is where the next improvement will come from. This is what I have to target. So then go to the study room and practice from that particular area. See, I will tell you, it is entirely possible to crack CAT in 3 months. Completely possible. You have to be smart about it. You have to have a good plan. If you don't have a study plan, you are going to mess up because the area is wide, the syllabus is wide, but you should not go broad. You should go deep. And for that, you need a smart study plan. Do take a look at Cracku's crash course. We'll make sure that you're getting the right guidance, the right materials to crack CAT. Okay, so thank you so much, and I hope all of you crack CAT.